गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते 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 गानलोलाय गुरुगुहनुताय गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते गानलोलाय गुरुगुहनुताय गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते गोपीजन मानसोल्लासाय गोपीजन मानसोल्लासाय गोपीजन मानसोल्लासाय गोपीजन मानसोल्लासाय गरुडवागाय गोपतोषाय गरुडवागाय गोपतोषाय गरुडवागाय गोपतोषाय गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते गानलोलाय गुरुगुहनुताय गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते द्वारकावास दामोदराय दासजन अभीष्टवरप्रदाय द्वारकावास दामोदराय दासजन अभीष्टवरप्रदाय दारिद्र्य दुःखादिभञ्जनाय दारिद्र्य दुःखादिभञ्जनाय द्रौपदी मानसं रक्षकाय द्रौपदी मानसं रक्षकाय धरणीधराय तत्त्वातीताय तामरसाक्षपदपङ्कजाय धरणीधराय तत्त्वातीताय तामरसाक्षपदपङ्कजाय परमभागवत प्रह्लादभक्तरक्षकाय पाण्डवविहिताय धरणीधराय तत्त्वातीताय तामरसाक्षपदपङ्कजाय परमभागवत प्रह्लादभक्तरक्षकाय पाण्डवविहिताय गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते गानलोलाय गुरुगुहनुताय गोपाल कृष्णाय नमस्ते
ओम नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः हरिः ओम अंतरायतिमिरोपशान्तये शान्तपावनमचिन्त्यवैभवं तन्नरं वपुषि कुञ्जरं मुखे मन्महे किमपि तुन्दिलं महः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनीं व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नामगोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्तेव सदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रं ह्यहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति। हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामज्जता वा पवनचलनरोधादात्मनिष्ठो भवत्वं। यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवतां नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्रा येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। पार्थसारथिरूपेण श्रावयित्वा शुभां गिरं पार्थस्यार्तिहरो देवः कृपामूर्तिः स पातु नः। So for the last 12 days, today is the 13th day, Sarvamangala Trayodashi, that is the word. Trayodashi is Sarvamangala. So we have arrived to the last 3 verses in Sthitaprajna Lakshana. All of us should become Sthitaprajna, that is the only escape route from this world. to exterminate the world from our mind, to remove the mind, to remove the ego, to be free of this conflicting world, aranya, as I said yesterday, no rana. So that is the anugraha that Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum, the Jagadguru has to bestow on us. That is real Sthita Prajnatva, Jivan Muktatva. The Prajna has to become Sthita. In Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya says, who is a Sthita Prajna? Yasya Sthita Bhavet Prajna, Sthira Bhavet Prajna. Yasya Anando Nirantaraha. Prapancho Vismrta Prayaha. Sajivan Mukta Uchyate. He is called Jivan Mukta. That shloka, Shankaracharya begins with Sthita Prajna and ends with Jivan Mukta. Yasya Sthira Bhavet Prajna. One whose Prajna, understanding, knowledge of the self, awareness of Swarupa is steady, stable, unshaken. Yasya Anando Nirantaraha. One whose Ananda means bliss. Actually, we can say peace, Shanti. Nirantara, which we are going to next few words, that Brahmi Sthiti. Nirantara. Prapancho Vismrta Prayaha. The world is, in his case, as if it does not exist. Prapancho Vismrta Prayaha. Sajivan Mukta Uchyate. Such a person is a Jivan Mukta. He is awake, but there is no world in his awareness. There is no ego in his awareness. Such a state is the fruit of the Vedic tree. That is why Bhagavatam begins with Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. This Kalpataru means it's a mystical celestial tree, very, very dangerous tree. Vedas are Kalpataru. Because if you really study the Vedas, know its secret, there is no desire that cannot be fulfilled. What can be more dangerous than that? So, the essence of that tree, the fruit of that tree is Atmajnana, Jivan Mukti. So, Nigama Kalpataroho Galitam, a fruit, very, very sweet fruit, fell of its own accord. Nigama Kalpataroho Galitam Phalam. Some devotees were requesting me that, Swami, please do Bhagavatam in English. Yesterday, a devotee from Delhi said, please do Bhagavatam. I am tempted to do because so free. So, but always, crowd gathers, it becomes, I am not bothered, but people get afraid. So something happens difficult in this situation. So people are always, kuch karo na, kuch karo na. So that is how this came, All the devas, celestials, they went to Bhagavan. So much pollution, so much destruction everywhere. So all these celestials, devas, they went to Bhagavan and said, Bhagavan, kuch karo na, kuch karo na. And then he descended as Corona. And we mispronounce it as Corona. So, whatever it might be. So, Sthita Prajna, Yasya Sthira Bhavit Prajna, Leena Dhirapi Jagrati. The mind is ever in the meditation, Samadhi, but awake. Jagrat Dharma Vivarjitaha. The Dharma of Jagrat is attachment, aversion, doership, enjoyership, all these habits of the mind. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says habits. From genetically, many things are there which are troublesome. And many things we have trained us out of ignorance. Out of ignorance, we have trained many wrong things, wrong manners, wrong habits. That also. These things stand in between us and truth. So to be free of all that and to be ever aware of one's Swaswarupa. And if such a person is there, he lives in another world. His world, his effulgent awareness is unknown to people in ignorance. And the ignorant people, they have, this world is real to them. The attachment and aversion here is real to them. The suffering, misery here is real to them. So, this world, a illumined soul is not aware. That is what we said yesterday. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. That which is Ratrihi. Shankaracharya says, Sarva Padarthanam Avivekakari Tamasvabhavatvat. Sarvesham Bhutanam Kim Tad Paramartha Tattvam Sthita Prajnasya Vishaya. For the Sthita Prajna, in his heart there is a splendorous sun of spiritual awareness. But all the objects of the world is like darkness. He is not aware, as you are not able to see in darkness the objects. Like that, he is not seeing the world. Yatha Naktanjaranam. See, Shankaracharya is very, very stern. He says, Naktanjara means those who move about in night. That is the verbal meaning. It means Rakshasas, Asuras, demons. Yatha Naktanjaranam ahare eva sat anyesham nisha bhavati. That which is daytime to Rakshasas is night time to other human beings. That is how it is defined, because when it becomes night, Rakshasas wake up. Night duty. And when others wake up, they go to sleep. In the morning time, they go to sleep. So Rakshasas, generally they become mightier, powerful by evening time. And then in the night. Night time they become very, very, very powerful. So they are called Naktanjaras. So, example Shankaracharya gives is, as our daytime is night to Rakshasas and our night time is daytime to Rakshasas, so like that Naktanjarasthaniyanam Ajnanam, that is the catch. Those who are ignorant, Shankaracharya says, those who are ignorant are Rakshasas, Asuras, Asushu Indriyartheshu ramante iti asuraha. Those who only know the sensory world, they are called asuras. So these asuras and rakshasas are not what you see in the serials with big horns and big teeth and all. They are ignorant people. Ignorance makes a person asuri sampat. Gita says all the evil propensities becomes powerful in a person. The root cause is ignorance. Root cause is ignorance. So, for the ignorant person, he becomes Rakshasa. Tasyam paramartha tattva lakshanayam ajnana nidrayaha prabuddhaha jagrati samyami samyavaman. The jnani is awake when in regarding God, and the ajnani is awake regarding world. He has self-realization. We other people have money realization, fame realization, body realization, pleasure realization, attachment aversion realization. These all become real. But for the jnani, self alone is real. Ataha, Shankaracharya Bhashya a little bit, I have to say, karmani avidyavasthayam eva chodyante na vidyavasthayam. Those who have attained realization means in Vedanta actually that word is not used, realization. But generally those who new words are coined now. Actually it only means knowing, knowledge. When a person knows, he walks out of the field of karma. Vidyayam hi satyam udide savitari sharvaramivataha pranasham upagacchati avidya. Sharvari means night. When vidya dawns, when knowledge dawns, like sunrise, darkness of the night goes. Like that, when knowledge of the self comes, avidya goes. So when avidya is there, many actions are done. Those actions become meaningless when vidya comes, when knowledge comes. Prag vidyotpattehe avidya pramana buddhya grihyamana. Avidya is pramana, authentic for an ignorant person. In that state, what is the lakshana? The person first thinks he is a person. Wait. That is why, new people come. When I see their face, this elucidating the Shastra becomes difficult. Because they are like as if you are entered a dark room, takes time to register things. So that is why Shastra needs a constant thing. See, the direct teaching, every day you can say it is very direct, simple. But when I read and tell you the meaning, it is different. So, when avidya is authentic, there is kriya karaka phala bheda rupa. I am telling these things for those who can grasp it. Kriya karaka phala bheda rupa. Kriya means action. Karaka means doership. And phalam. This is a rigmarole. The actor, the action, the fruit. You get into this rut and you are not able to come out of it. Sarva karma hetutvam pratipadyate. Then all the actions happens. Na apramana buddhya grihyamanayaha karma hetutvopapattihi. The moment you see, who am I? What is this I? What is the real nature of this I? You inquire and you find that the very I is meaningless. Like you remove one by one the onion or garlic. Peel the layers. And ultimately you find nothing. Like that you remove the body, the mind, the ego. There is no person there. No doership there. Then who is doing the action? Who is the doer? Who am I? There is no doer there. But as long as you don't ask this question, the whole show continues. The moment you ask this question, the fiction comes to an end. Na apramana buddhya grihyamanayaha karma hetutvopapattihi. Pramana bhutena vedena mama chodidam kartavyam karma. Itihi karmani karta pravartate. A person operates in the field of action by the authority of Vedas. Vedas has prescribed this action for me, so I have to do this. And the decision is, ultimately Shankaracharya says, one who knows that all this action, actor, world, everything is like darkness. It's not real. Nisheva. Avidya matramidam sarvam bhedajadam. All the duality, all the separation is all ignorance. When one knows this, iti jnanam. This is jnanam. When that jnanam has dawned, tasya atmajnasya sarva karma sannyase eva adhikaraha na pravrittau. That is the decision, conclusion. For that atmajna, he has no right to perform any activities. He is out of it. He is out of the field of action. For him, sannyase eva adhikaraha. So saying this, and he has to do manana, nididhyasana and nirvikalpa jnana. That is the only thing that he can perform, if at all. So, that is the conclusion. So for him, this is meaningless. For an ignorant person, that is meaningless. People will ask, what will you do? And somebody takes sannyasa. Even sannyasis, they have a problem. After taking sannyasa, what should we do? The Shastra says, if you ask this question, you should not take sannyasa. If you see, we have lot of time, so we will do social service. You can do social service. Don't wear ochre robe. Don't tonsure your head. Don't change your name. You can do all social service. That is good for you. You will attain purity of the mind. Then what will I do? If after taking sannyasa, I will do puja. Do puja. Don't take sannyasa. Matadhipatis are doing. Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami said, actually a sannyasi should not do bahya puja. But I am a Matadhipati. What to do? And people respect me for wrong reasons. They respect me because I am doing Chandramaureshwara puja. If I leave it, they will say all these ignorant people has to give certificate to jnanis. That is the Kashtakalam. All ignorant people, they give certificate for wrong reason. He is doing so many hours, he is sitting puja. I have heard many people remark, so many hours not moving, doing puja. A sannyasi should not do bahya puja. A sannyasi should not do karma anushtana. Then what happens? Then people will say he is not doing anything. One person had a conversation with Tapovan Maharaj. So Tapovan Maharaj said a sannyasi should not do anything like this. Then that asker, questioner is also a sannyasi. He said, if we don't do this, people will find fault with us. Oh, so you have taken sannyasa to get good name from ignorant people? If they say, insult you, that is also good. Tulyaninda stutir mauni. So that is good. So that for that you have not taken sannyasa to get good name. So sannyasa means sarva karma nivritti. Then what should he do? He should not do anything. Chumma iru. Nirvikalpa jnana. And a Jivan Mukta. See, Shankaracharya did so much work. That is not their work. Once they have realized the self, jnana is different. Sannyasa as a sadhana is different. Sannyasa as Siddha Purusha is different. For a Jivan Mukta, he might do certain activities like teaching, giving the Upadesha, because the Shruti itself has prescribed that. When a seeker comes, when a Shishya comes and asks, Abhayam Dadyad, let the Guru give him Abhayam, refuge, fearlessness, and give him the teaching. So that teaching is, sannyasi can have such activities like giving the Upadesha, Manana, Nididhyasana, Ekantavasa. These things are only prescribed. So these are all, even these things he is doing without any doership. So there another question will come. If doership is not there, why not do any activity? That is not possible. Because before sannyasa itself, he has prepared his body, mind in such a way, he has reached a state where before sannyasa itself, he has dropped everything. Then how will he do, after taking sannyasa, he cannot, as Krishna you can be a charioteer, but a sannyasi cannot do that. So sannyasa dharma is different. So here Shankaracharya is speaking about that. Sarvakarma sannyasa means, actually according to Bhagavad Gita, two types of sannyasa is possible. One is, the activities remain in the body mind. Like Janaka. He has not taken outer sannyasa. But jnana is undeniable. They are jnanis. They are realized souls. They are jivan muktas. But mysteriously, somehow, the activities are remaining in their body. Janaka is a best example, unique example. And Janaka and Shukacharya had a conversation. It is there in Devi Bhagavatam, where Shukacharya is Shuka, Vyasa's son. He is a Jivan Mukta. And the mystery of that state, Mahabharata it comes, Devi Bhagavatam it comes, Yoga Vasishta also that story is there. So this boy, somehow, because he is Vyasa's son, he is a born jnani. In fact, the family tree of Vyasa found its fruit in him. Long generation of sages found a Mukta Purusha in him. So he has reached that state. Still, there was, always you need a guru. After attainment also, either in some other plane or outwardly, the guru has to come and tell you have attained. You are that. That is why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also in his Aksharamana Malai is asking Arunachala. Actually, Arunachala has already given him that. But whatever happened, Bhagavan has written in Aksharamana Malai for our perusal. So Bhagavan has written there that he is asking to Arunachala, Arunachala, tell me that I am that. Open your mouth. Amudavaya Tira Arunmati Arunachala, and give me that grace, give me that teaching. Although I have attained, tell me I have attained. Give me that abhayam. So these are all constant recurrence in Aksharamana Malai. So Janaka, Shuka went to his father and asked him, Father, this is my state. The mind is quiet, peaceful. The intellect is quiet. I know what exists in me is the Purna Vastu. Still, something is lacking. Vyasa said, that is the word of master. You do one thing. Vyasa could have done that Upadesha, and that would have finished the job. But Vyasa wanted a demonstration. Perhaps that is also a Vyasa's great vision. Because if Vyasa gives the completion for Shukacharya, the mystery of Jivan Mukti will not be revealed. Ramana Bhagavan says the word mystery of Jivan Mukti, because sometimes Jivan Muktas are found in very contrasting field. So Vyasa wanted to reveal that. So Vyasa sent him to the palace, to Janaka, Mithila Nagari, a king who is called, not only called Jivan Mukta, but he was called Videha. Just imagine a king who is doing all his prescribed duties, is said as the bodiless being. He is called Videha, bodiless being. So, to Janaka, Shukacharya was sent. Shuka was sent. He was a boy at that time. So, when he went to palace, the guards who were standing outside, they found that Vyasa's son has come, a great being has come, sage has come. So they went inside to the king and said, reported that Vyasa's son has come. Janaka said, give me a seat and make him sit in the outside the compound. He was sitting there. No complaint, did not ask why I am being seated here. I have come, I am Vyasa's son, identity card. Nothing. He just kept quiet, peaceful. See, we can compare ourselves in such situations. If we go to ashram and the security is not allowing inside, so much kondalipu, so much pain comes. So, he was made to sit outside the palace. He just sat there peacefully, no complaint. After 3 days, with all celebration, with all retinue, the king came out and did Pada Puja, all Vadya Nagaswaram. See, if somebody comes like that after insulting us, we will say, oh, ipathan therinjada. Only now you have come to know my value? You did not come all these days. this is, see, we are all gone case. Useless. See, to live in this world, all the stories we know, but when the right opportunity comes, we might keep quiet, but inwardly, where is that peace? Inwardly, where is that equilibrium? Not affected by anything. As long as activity is important, as long as world is important, that is not possible. When you naturally disown everything, become nobody, then only it is possible. That is the problem with these things. That is why we say Brahmavidya, realization, makes a person a renunciate. Because you hold to something, pain comes. You have ownership to anything, mamata gives you pain. Ownership to event, ownership to individual, ownership to properties, ownership to ideals, ownership to one's own personality, everything gives pain. When these are not there, the person will be like this. He just sat there quiet, unperturbed. And when the king came to invite him inside, then quietly went inside. There is an added story, it is not there in Devi Bhagavatam. The king gave, generally when some Atithi comes, in Kerala that achara is there. They will give oil for bath and some chika podi, something for taking bath. And the person will go to river and take bath and come back. And then one cloth also, fresh cloth. So that is the Atithi Seva. So like that, they gave a tumbler full of oil in Shuka's hand. And he was carrying it. This side, so many were dancing. This side, all kind of music was going on. Vedic chantings were going on. And he knows everything. So, another room, when he went inside, that's a very great test for people like us. Because when Shukacharya entered that room, Janaka has arranged some pandits to chant all the Vedas and mantras in a wrong way. All making mistakes. See, those who know Shastra, they will get disturbed. This is all wrong. Corrected. Not at all affected. Not at all affected. Whether it is right, whether it is wrong. If you know good music, you hear all apaswaram. How will it be? So, not at all affected, because that is Jagan Mithya. It is not a philosophy. When Jagan Mithya means everything is Mithya, unreal, unaffected. People saw that state in Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Unaffected by anything, any happening. Not trying to correct anything. Unperturbed. So he went inside, not a drop of oil spilled out of that bowl. And when he went inside, then Janaka said, "You have arrived. That's all. You finished. You have attained. You sthita prajnosi. You are a Jivan Mukta." That was necessary. That telling from the master was necessary. That's Asi, Tattvamasi. So after, there is in Devi Bhagavatam some conversations were happening. A little bit of change. There, Shuka is asking Janaka, how is it possible that a Jivan Mukta like you is able to do all these activities? As a king, execute these things. Because it is not like doing morning, wake up, do some Sandhya Vandana, Anushtana and then Shiva Puja. It's not like that. Some criminal will be brought, you have to say, put him in prison or kill him. And some enemy king will come for war, you have to go and fight. These things have to be done by the king. You cannot say, I am a Jivan Mukta, then go and sit in forest. Everything will be gone. So what will you do? So when Shukacharya asked Janaka, Janaka said, why? My father was a king, my grandfather was a king. So the whole thing is there in my parampara, gene. The body knows how to act. I need not teach it. It just does its job. Then Shuka asks, but it needs mind. Mind must be used there. Then Janaka asked, see, for a sannyasi also, for bhiksha, to collect bhiksha, to maintain his sannyasa dharma, certain things must be done. Danda paripalana and all. So how will he do that? Then Shukacharya said, oh, that needs very little mind. To go and take bhiksha and do the japa and all, pranava japa, etc. It needs very little mind. Then you know what reply Janaka gave? That little mind is enough for me to govern the country. Because it is there as a skill in that body, that Kshatriya Sharira. So that reveals one side of that karma. If certain person has this aptitude, that dharma he can easily do. But paradharmo bhayavaha. He will be unconsciously working as a king. But if he takes sannyasa, he will become conscious. Then that is very difficult. These things will happen through that body, he will remain a Brahmanishta. It's a rare example. Janakas is a rare example. Generally, those who know, they renounce. More and more they withdraw. More and more, because Shankaracharya says, if one is blind, he will grope in darkness. He will fall in a pit. But if there is eyes, if there is light, will he fall? Like that, a knower generally will not follow the way of the world. Because generally the whole world and its all activities are made by blind people. Andha parampara yam samsara saranihi. This entire samsara is a gathering of blind people. Those who do not know the truth. And blind is leading blind, blind is writing books, blind is doing election, everything. Andhenaiva niyamana yatandhaha. This is world. So one person wakes up to the light. His eyes are opened by the truth. Then these blind people will see to it that soon he will be samadhi-gatived. Such a person is a danger. A walking danger to all that is not truth. So he cannot risk to be inside the society. So generally he walks out. That is the Shankaracharya's opinion here. So, okay, now we coming back to our usual topic. Today we just went outside a little bit. I don't know why Bhagavan made me do that. So, we have already seen the last verse is over, no? Mystical verse, night and day verse. A Sthita Prajna lives in the world, ever aware of his real nature. And his senses, mind are all active. See, once is in Samadhi Sthiti, two things are asked. One is Sthita bhavet prajna. No. Sthitadhi and Samadhistha. Two states. One is Sthitadhi, means his intellect has become frozen. It has become still in Samadhi state. Shankaracharya uses the word Sthimita Salila Rashi Prakyam. That Nirvikalpa Samadhi in Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya says, as if a ocean has suddenly frozen. Like that, the intellect becomes quiet, the mind becomes still, everything is still. No activity is possible. Then, after Brahmavid, Brahmavidvara, Brahmavidvariya, Brahmavidvarishta, he becomes a Sahajasthita, like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. After that experience, came down and moved about with everybody. Even he was cooking in the kitchen, answering questions, sometimes joke, always available. 24 hours. You can see a Sthita Prajna 24 hours amidst people, but never involving in anything. Never getting attached, never getting no aversion, no attachment. He was always available. It's not that even many sages, even Kanchi, Paramacharya, if you want to see him, sometimes he will be in total mauna, kashta mauna. Some days you go, sometimes for 6 months he was not available. He was totally withdrawn. That also a rare beauty, When you see a Mathadipati in that tapas, that is a great lesson for many onlookers. Kashta mauna, not pause. These states happened in Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi before. Later on, 24 hours he was available. But nobody can trespass that silence, So he was in that state. Sahajasthiti. In that state, are they not looking at the world? Yes, they are looking at the world. But for them, the world does not exist. The world is nothing but the Atman. The entire world is Atma Swarupam. Idam Sarvam Edayam Atma. The world enters inside, but no impact. Our problem is, if the world enters inside, world wants to enter inside and see what is there inside us. So it enters through the 5 doors. And the world is shocked because the inside world is more chaotic. Total traffic jam. No Shanti. So that is our problem. Yeah. Who knows our trouble? No. That is what people used to say. Bhagavan is in that state. He does not know my problem. I have my difficulties. So many problems. So here in next verse, Bhagavan gives that state of Sthita Prajna, where anything from outside goes inside and disappears. These are all, very perfect indicators. Swallow and be finished with it. You have the story in Ramayana, Some Rakshasas were there. Their only job is one Rakshasa's name is Vatapi. You know the story. The another person is Ilvala. And this Ilvala will make Vatapi a goat. Cut it, make curry, and invite some Rishi. And when that Rishi comes to eat, he will with so much bhakti, he will call. When that Rishi comes for feast, he will mix this meat with the food and give to the sage. And he will not be, the taste will not be different. It will be the ordinary sambar rasam. Everything looks normal. And once he eats it, this Vadabi, I don't know what kind of varam it is, he goes inside, and once he reaches the stomach, this Rakshasa from outside, Ilvala, he will call Vatapi, Vatapi, Vatapi. And that Rakshasa from inside breaks the stomach and comes out. New technique. We should not tell this story to China people. They will make such virus. From there they will call. We should not reveal this story to these China people. Very dangerous people, This Ilwala, Vatabi are all very sadhus compared to these people. So, see, tear apart and come out. So this was continuing. So many rishis were killed. All these things happened, in Tamil Nadu. Because this is their place, Dandakaranyam. Not simply Tamil Nadu. After Godavari, Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, everywhere. Agastya was here. That is what we claim. No, Agastya is a Tamil rishi. So all the rishis, they went to Agastya and prayed, please rescue us. These Rakshasas were doing such atrocities. So Agastya said, okay, I will go that way. So he went that side. And this Ilvala was standing there. And he heard Agastya is coming, very happy, because he has already heard the name of Agastya. So he went there and did a namaskara, abhivade, rakshasa gotro, Ilvala nama namasmi boho, namaskara. And then he invited Agastya for food. Agastya said, what have you cooked? I have cooked so much delicacies, kal and all and avial. Ardan. What is that ardan? This is a special curry, like kalan, it is ardan. It's a special curry. You have to eat that also. So Agastya said, okay. He came. And this person naturally did all namaskara. And Vatabi was also there. When inviting this boy will come, this person will come there. So he did namaskara and went to kitchen. And he will become a goat. And Ilvala, piece, and cooked. And brought all this ardan, avial, everything, and gave to Agastya. Agastya had, as we say, up to nose. And one and then he touched his stomach and said, Vata be jirno bhava. Let the Vata be is digested. Let the Vata be become digested, jirna. And this Ilvala, is calling Vata be. Nothing was happening. He says, Vata be. And then what is this person doing inside? When Agastya has a big tondi, near the tummy, also he went Vadabi. Then Agastya said, Vadapi will come only tomorrow morning. Not now. No more in that same form. Is no Vada. Only the last letter will come out. So it's all over. Vata will push. So it's all over. So this is the story. So this the things of the world goes on happening, All things are like Vatapi. The Vatapi goes inside and creates trouble. So through all the senses they go inside and they tear your heart. They create so much suffering inside. So you need power like Agastya. See, that is the beauty of Valmiki Ramayana. When Rama comes to forest, actually he moved towards south, and his only goal, his only wish was to see Agastya, because he was such a great sage. Those time, people from North India, from America, from outside India, from many other places, they came to see Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Like that, Rama has heard about Agastya, so he wanted to have a darshan of Agastya. That is why he started moving southward. And on the way he met many sages, and Agastya's brother's ashram was also there. There also Rama went, and they guided him where you can meet Agastya. Then he moved towards Godavari, Panchavati. Near Panchavati, first they meet Agastya. So there, the Vilakshanata, the uniqueness of that place is, wherever Rama went, he found the effect of ruins created by Rakshasas. They have killed so many sages, the flesh was lying there, the bones were lying there. That was their favorite food. Just imagine, we have not reached to that state. All hatred for Brahmins are all there, very rampant, especially in Tamil Nadu. So much hatred is there. But up to now, they have not got idea that you can eat Brahmins. Thank God. At least we have escaped from their dining table. Just imagine, Iyer curry. Imagine, it's not very. That is the problem. So everywhere that was there, no? Wherever in Dandakaranyam, it was all ruins of, remnants of Rishi Sharira. So everywhere. But when Rama came near Agastya Ashrama, about 200 to 300 miles, square miles you can say, the whole place was peaceful. Because these people knows only one language. You cannot tell them we are very peaceful, we are doing Sandhya Vandana. No, you have to swallow them and digest them. They do not know the language of peace. They do not know the language of love and all. They do not understand it. Once the sage did this, they all ran away. They all ran away because they know only to eat sages. They found a sage who can eat them. So they just quit the place. See, once they find a power there manifesting, that is how the Maricha also, when he saw Rama and Rama's power, he jumped into the ocean and swam to Sri Lanka. Vesham Bubosha Jalamanusha Nirvishesham. So that is it. So that area was so peaceful, that Agastya Ashrama. It shows that when a Jivan Mukta, a Mukta Purusha is there, the whole area is cleansed of all negativities, all evils. Because if there is a center in us which can receive the evil, evil will come in various forms. The psychic plane, it's very, very harmful. And all of us have that psyche, that mind. So when the psyche is not completely absorbed by the heart center, the spiritual center. In a Jivan Mukta, the psyche is not there. The Manomaya Kosha is swallowed by the heart center. We can say the Anandamaya Kosha has swallowed the Manomaya Kosha. And the Anandamaya Kosha is no more Kosha, but simply we can say Anandamaya Kosha. For him it is only self. It has swallowed the Manomaya Kosha. But as long as this Manomaya Kosha is active, it will be constantly in contact with corresponding elements outside. We will not be aware. According to its resonance only, people will visit us, things will happen around us, events will take place. We will say, why this is happening, why this? Because I deserve it. That is why it happens to me. Only if I deserve it, such things will happen. So this will be in constant resonance. So when that is cleared, when that malam is gone, dosham is gone, then the heart becomes santosham. As Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, when dosha is gone, santosha comes. When that evil is removed, when that ignorance, ahankara is removed, ajnana is removed, the heart sky becomes clear of all clouds. Then it can absorb everything inside. Whatever goes inside becomes pure gold. Like sparshamani, chintamani. Anything goes inside, it will be completely swallowed, digested. That is what Bhagavan says in next verse. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam. Samudramapah pravishanti yadvat. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve. Sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. The ocean is called Samudra. Samudra means mudraya sahavartate iti samudra. Mudra means what? Sign. Ocean always shows an intimation, a sign. From great distance, you can hear the sound and a salty taste will come. And also you can see the wave arising, going down, arising, going down. So Samudra, this outside ocean is Samudra. That is Mudra. The wave is the Mudra of ocean. So too, Atma is called Samudra. It has also a Mudra. Always a Mudra is shown, and that Mudra is Aham, 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 I. It is the wave arising from the self. As pure experience, it waves. It waves. Comes as wave of I. That is Samudra. The Vedas say, ends, Yajurveda comes to conclusion by saying Samudro Bandhu. Thus ends the Vedas. You know what it says? Bhagavan has an inseparable relative. You know Vishnu lies in Samudra. So his relative is Samudra. He remains in Samudra. He is one with the Samudra. So Samudro Bandhu. And who is that Samudra? The Atma Vastu is Samudra. It is inseparable from the Lord. Lord has become one with Samudra in the heart. So once you know through mudra of Aham mudra, the chin mudra, you dive deep, go deep, plumb within and realize what this I means. You find that the I wave, you hold on to the wave and go inside and realize that it is infinite. You touch the infinitude. Then what happens? You become one with the inner Samudra. You yourself become Samudra. Then through all the senses, rivers are flowing inside. Apuryamanam, being filled. Constant filling is happening. Through all the rivers, 5 senses. Rivers are going inside. Punjab. This is Punjab. Apa means water. Pancha means 5. Panjaba means 5 waters, 5 rivers. So that state is called Punjab because 5 rivers. And here also in Tamil Nadu you have a Thiruvaiyar. Aru means river. I means 5. And Thiru means sacred. Sacred 5 rivers. Conjugation of 5 rivers. And the Ishvara is called Panchapakesha. One who absorbs all the 5 rivers. So he becomes Samudra naturally. He is the Ishvara Panchapakesha. All the 5 rivers are Isha. He is the Isha, who is the ordainer, he is the controller, he is the absorber. So, Apuryamanam, when all the rivers enter the ocean, Samudram apah pravishanti yadvat. Like all the apas, like all the rivers enter Samudra, but Samudra will not rise. If the rivers are dry, Samudra will not go down. It remains constant. The Upanishad gives the same example in another way. Yatha nadyah syandamanaha samudre astam gachanti nama rupe vihaya tatha vidwan nama rupad vimuktaha parat param purusham upaiti divyam. Yatha, as nadyah, the rivers, syandamanaha, flowing, samudre astam gachanti, they all find their source in the sea, they end there. They merge there and lose their names and forms. No more Ganga, no more Narmada, no more Yamuna, no more Kaveri, names and forms are gone and become Samudram. Tadvat, like that, a Vidwan, a knower of Atman, the Atmavit, the Brahmaveta, one who knows the Atman, what happens? Namarupad vimuktaha, free of all the names and forms, Parat Param, that transcendental being. Para means transcendental. Parat Param means it's super transcendental. Means he is beyond the Para and Apara and everything. The Parat Param Purusham, that Supreme Purusha, that Bhagavan, you attain that Bhagavan, you realize that Bhagavan, God consciousness happens. So here the Gita says, as the rivers enter the ocean and disappear, Tadvat, like that, Kamaha, desires, objects of desires, enter a Jivan Mukta and disappear. Shantimapnoti na kama kami. Such a person attains Shanti. He attains peace. A person, see, Kama will enter. Even if you have desires, you can have peace. But if you desire desires, peace is not for you. See, desire might be normal. But general ignorant people, what we do? We pour oil into desires. More and more desires. All the media, all these things are to create in you inordinate desires. Certain desires are okay. We need food, we need water, we need clothing, we need some place to live. Some Vyavahara Dharma must happen. That much okay. Unnecessary, not essential things you desire. Such people are called Kama Kami. They are devotees of their desires. And such people cannot have peace. Na Kama Kami. Apuryamana machala pratishtam. Let the whole world constantly enter you. It will not bother. It will not bother you. You are no more bothered, affected by it. You means not you, the Jivan Mukta, the Sthita Prajna. If you know the truth, you have found, touched the inner ocean inside the heart center, has opened. Sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. That is the end of Gita. You have located a center in you, a center has opened in you which can absorb everything. The jnana is so powerful inside that jnana dilutes everything, melts everything, evaporates everything. Whatever goes inside, because we cannot predict what will life bring in. We have seen some strange people, even amidst worldly people, nothing bothers them. Life will bring in unimaginable problems, unpredictable problems. You cannot say only this can happen. Who can dictate? To whom can we dictate what should happen and what should not happen? We are constantly thinking only this must happen. But the most unimaginable things happen. And when such things happen, what should do? You should remember Agastya. That's all. No other solution at all. Dissolution is the path, not solution. If you seek solution will become another problem. Dukkaushadham tadapi dukkham. Bhagavatam says, you search for some medicine, ultimately you find the disease is better. Because the medicine is more troublesome. The side effect of medicine is more troublesome. The disease was far better. So this is the worldly wise people, clever people do only this. They make the problem more and more complex. So the Mukta Purusha, what does he do? He dissolves the problem. He is not here to solve it, because he dissolves it. As you dissolve, as the Antaryami is dissolving in deep sleep, a Jivan Mukta dissolves while awake. All the things, here kama is the word used. Kama means desire. Desires. It is only a representative of life. Events. Karma phala. Some prarabdha. Many things. When I walked this path of teaching for last almost 28 years. Mostly in this field we find people with terrible experiences. Such experiences have brought them to the spiritual field. Sometimes very hoary, very horror like experiences. Because they no answer from anywhere. Then from somewhere comes this soothing touch, this healing touch, that such a method exists where you can find peace. Not all find complete peace suddenly, because our habit is there. It will not allow the whole Vidya to go inside. Certain people, they are really blessed people. They absorb this Brahma Vidya and become completely free. Completely free. They would have experienced such terrible sorrow in their life, but one touch of this Vidya completely make them free. Completely take a resolution. No more suffering. No more misery. Peaceful. They are not bothered anymore about anything. Such blessed souls. They are blessed souls. They are real fortunate souls. It's great anugraha. It's the Kripa Shakti. But generally, even after coming to spiritual life, all the old stuff remains. All that bellows working will be there. Again and again, some meditation, then going back. Some meditation, then going back. And just pulling on. That is not. Here Bhagavan says, apuryamanam means constantly you eat the world through all the senses. You consume the world. When we come to the world, only one thing we do, eating, eating, eating. Not through mouth, but through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose, through our action. And chewing mentally. All that past, future, everything. Eating is the only job. Atma means what? Great eater. The soul means great eater. Atti iti Atma. One who eats is Atma. The etymology is Atti. Atti means he eats. Adyate. Atticha. That's the Shruti Vakya. Adyate. He gets eaten, he eats. So this is our life. But how to have that Agastya mantra? How to have that Jirna medicine? That Bhagavatam says, Nigamakalpataror Galitam Phalam. I used to say that Phalam is Triphala. Bhakti Phalam, Jnana Phalam, Vairagya Phalam. For digestion, that is best medicine, that Triphala. So here, Bhagavan says, a Sthita Prajna, by the power of his Jnana, world will enter inside, but it cannot disturb the inner peace. As a sadhana, even if some mild disturbance is there, this Jnana Agni burns everything. You again and again find stability. Come back to that peacefulness. In Ramayana, even Rama weeps seeing Sita's ornaments because Sita was stolen. And he is going on weeping, and he finds Sugriva in the Rishimukachala. And they said Ravana was taking her and she dropped all the ornaments. See this, whether this is Sita's. The moment he saw that ornaments, he started weeping. And Sugriva goes and advises him. See, I have also lost my wife. How peaceful I am. You have to learn from me. And Rama said, yes. After 5 minutes, when Sugriva looks at Rama, he was peaceful like ocean. Rippleless ocean. Prasanna mudadhyam yatha. So, next moment that jnana comes and pacifies, makes everything peaceful. So, that everything is swallowed, everything is digested. A Jivan Mukta, even though when he lives in the world, he is Shantimapnoti, he is always Shanta. This is a sadhaka verse actually, because when you have this jnana balam, if you can absorb everything, Shantimapnoti, you will attain Shanti. Not a person, na kamakami, constantly creating desire, krishi, agriculture of desires. That is what we are doing. Put the seeds of desires, pour water of ambition, put more and more fertilizers of information from the world, and you will have all the products of suffering, samsara. That is what we are cultivating nonsense. And when you know the truth, and inwardly the jnanam absorbs everything, digests everything, then shantim apnoti. Shanti comes. Shanti is samadhi. Shanti is prajna. One who has shanti is a sthita prajna. And such a Jivan Mukta is a free soul. The very word in English is also very beautiful. Free soul. Is a free soul. A Jivan Mukta means free soul. Next verse. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan. Puman sharati nispraha. Nirmamo nirahankaraha. स शान्तिमधिगच्छति. These verses are all very auspicious because last verse also shantim apnoti, and this verse saha he shantim adhigacchati, he attains shanti, he attains peace. Who is that he? He is a mukta purusha. He lives devoid of any desires. Vihaya means giving up, renouncing. What does he renounce? Kaman, sarvan kaman, no more desires. Upanishad says directly you can become a Brahmavit. Here and now you will be established in Brahman, you will become a Jivan Mukta, provided you give up all desires. Yada sarve pramuchyante kama yesya hridi shritaha atha martyah amruto bhavati atra brahma samashnute. Yada, when sarve, all kamaha, desires, pramuchyante, all are severed, given up, renounced, hridi shritaha, from the heart, then what happens? Martyaha, the mortal, amruto bhavati, he becomes immortal. Atra brahma samashnute, here and now he attains Brahman, he becomes a Jivan Mukta. This is the Shruti, Upanishad mantra, Mundaka Upanishad mantra. So, Vihaya kaman yes sarvan, giving up all desires, the Jivan Mukta charati just moves about like a child. Sometimes, as Sadashiva Brahmendra says, Atavi koneshu atan aste. That Mukta Purusha sometimes is seen on the bank of a river, sometimes in an ashram, sometimes in a forest, sometimes in some Raja Mandiram, somewhere you see that free soul moving about. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan, giving up all desires, Puman, that great being, charati, he wanders. Nispriha, not attached to anything, never getting stuck anywhere. Nirmamo, no mineness. There is no question of this is mine. Nirahankaraha, no ego, no I, no mine. Such a being is a storm of peace, is a tsunami of peace. Wherever he goes, just his very presence unleashes peace. Such kind being is walking God. He is walking God. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan. We have to just chant this verse again and again. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan. This sloka, in my childhood I used to sit in a temple and chant Gita and Upanishad. Sometimes this verse alone, I will sit 2 hours or 3 hours like that. Nobody to disturb, no one will even when it rains, nobody steps into the temple. Very rarely people will come there. So, even that pujari, when I go inside, he will walk out because somebody is there to take care. That time it was like that. So, this shloka, that was my world at that time. Very beautiful village, all jungles, so many ponds. Whole village is surrounded by small pools, ponds. So, very few people also. So, there I can imagine this verse and move about. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan, no desires. Charati nisprihaha, untouched by anything, moving about. Nirmamo, no mindness. Nirahankaraha, no I. Shanti madhikacchati. Peace, great peace, profound peace. Such a state, when a person has reached such a state where the I is not, there is no mind, no desires pollutes the inner space, no cloud of emotion, desire, ego, mindness, stress, strain, nothing is there. It is pleasant, placid. Esha, next slokam. Esha Brahmi Sthitih Partha.
Esha Brahmi Sthitih Partha.
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati.
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati.
Sthitva Syamantakaalepi.
Sthitva Syamantakaalepi.
Brahma Nirvana Mrichati.
Brahma Nirvana Mrichati.
The second chapter is so auspicious that it comes to end by Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. He enters Brahma Nirvana. He attains Brahma Nirvana. Nirvana is a word which Buddha uses, but Gita uses the word Brahma Nirvana. I feel Buddha has taken this word from Bhagavad Gita. Nirvana. The word Nirvana is taken from Gita. So, Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Such a person attains Brahma Nirvana. What is that Brahma Nirvana? Esha, this. What is this? Brahmi Sthiti, the state of Brahmanubhuti, the state of Brahman, experience of Brahman. One who has attained this, na yenam prapya, one who has got this vidya, this knowledge, this Upanishadic wisdom. The gender is feminine gender is used. Esha, enam. Because the Upanishad is also Strilingam. So, enam prapya na vimuhyati. No more is he deluded. No more deluded. So, Brahmi sthitihi, esha Brahmi sthitihi, na enam prapya vimuhyati. No more is he deluded. Sthitva, by abiding in it. Antakalepi. Even if he is blessed, lucky enough to get this state, this knowledge at the fag end of his life, at the last few days of his life, he is blessed because he attains Brahma Nirvana. Like a lamp, a flame, a camphor lit with fire is extinguished. Like that, his individuality, his ego is extinguished. He becomes one with the infinite. He becomes one with the whole. This is the Sthita Prajna's blessed state, a Jivan Mukta state. Such a being is one with the infinite. Esha Brahmi Sthitihi Partha. Who Arjuna, this is Brahmi Sthiti. Enam prapya, after attaining this, no more delusion. Na vimuhyati, no more slip from that state. No more moving away from that state. Sthitva, by staying in that, by abiding in that, at least in your last days, antakalepi, Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Bhagavata says, this is the goal, ante Narayana Smritihi. One should have Narayana Smritihi in his last breath. In last moment, one should have the recollection of Narayana, recollection of Bhagavan. That is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi sings. Vittidir Kashtamam. If I forget you, it's Kashtam. That is enough, expression. Vittidir Kashtamam. If we ignore the truth, if we forget our real nature, all the suffering will follow. Vittidadu unai. Without leaving you, without forgetting you, Uyir vittida arulpuri arunachala. Without forgetting you, let me leave the body. Let me leave the world. Otherwise, kashtamam. Another birth, another entry into a body, another continuing the suffering in another form, another embodiment will come, another stream of current of misery will start. So, O Lord, kashtam, no more kashtam. shantim adhigacchati, shantim adhigacchati, shantim adhigacchati, brahma nirvanam richati. That is brahma nirvana. It is the aparoksha anubhuti. One directly experiences one's own self as Brahman, as Akhanda Purna Vastu. One's own existence, one's own I is no more I. It is the infinite. It is Ishvara. No? In Tamil, there is a beauty. English we say I. If you take Tamil dictionary and look for the meaning of I, you will find I means Shiva. That is why it's called Ayya, Ayyan. All comes from that. So I means Shiva. So from Tamil you give meaning to the English word. I means Shiva. In Sanskrit also, Shiva is Aham Pada Artha, the implied meaning of Aham. Once you know I, you know Shiva, you know Narayana, you know Brahman, the ultimate reality. Such a one attains the supreme realization, the enlightenment. Esha Brahmi Sthiti. We should remember these 2-3 verses today. We have to meditate whole night. We have to meditate on these verses. Esha Brahmi Sthiti. Contemplate on it deeply, not leave it here. Take this with you. Deeply contemplate, meditate on these verses. Then that state will be ours. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyayah. Eto mamatma bhavasi tvameva tato na vachyam mama kinchidasti yathata veshtam kurumam tatheva tvam atmanatham ramanam bhajami. This year, this Bhagavad Gita talks series, organized every year by our group of devotees in Bangalore. They have done this yajna in various places, in Shankaramat and many places. Last year they did in Tirupati Balaji temple in Bangalore. So this year Ramana Bhagavan used to say, some devotees from America, United States, they were going back and they said, Bhagavan, we are missing Tiruvannamalai, Arunachalam. Then Bhagavan said, the whole world is in Arunachala. Every place is Arunachala. So that Vakyam became Pramanam for us now. From this Arunachala Kshetram, we are addressing Bangalore devotees. From Arunachala Kshetram, all lectures are happening here. So this year Yajna has happened in Arunachala. And those devotees who are watching and listening, they will find the change also, because there is no question of finishing it in 7 days. Instead of 7 days, it has become 13 days, almost double. So that is a great benefit also, and very leisurely way, no urgency to finish. Thus we have this Sthita Prajna Lakshana. I am tempted to do the entire Gita, but Sthita Prajna Lakshana. So by Bhagavan's grace, let this become fruitful in the experience of the devotees. That is only prayer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.